Now, the interesting thing about this golf warm-up tip is I'm not really bothered how good your warm-up is, as long as there is one. And I think that's the start point for most people, is just have a warm-up. We see so many golfers who their only warm-up is pulling the boot down, tying their shoelaces, and then running to the first tee and hitting their first tee shot and wondering why they don't play very well from week to week. The key to a good golf warm-up is make it, the right length of time for you and make it specific to the issues that you might have in your game. Now, you might even consider that having a golf warm-up could happen a day or two before going to the driving range, hitting a few shots, working out where your strengths and weaknesses lie, understanding what your ball flight looks like, what your current game looks like. That could be classed as a warm-up, as long as it's then backed up by a physical warm-up actually just before you go and play. So if I've hit balls on a Thursday night at the driving range, when I get to the tee on the Saturday morning, I'm kind of expecting what I did at the Thursday night to still be with me and to still come into the game of golf. I'm then on that Saturday morning going to try and get physically warm and ready so that when I get to the first tee, it doesn't actually feel like the first tee shot of the day. You'll see the tour players will get there hour and a half early, and they'll do some putting, they'll do some chipping, they'll do some bunker play, they'll do some full swings, they'll do everything that they would normally do in a full round of golf. And when they get to the first tee, it probably feels like they've already played 9 holes. Now, I appreciate a lot of club and amateur golfers don't have the time, the dedication to get there an hour and a half before, but let's try and spare half an hour. Allow yourself half an hour to get there. Try and allow a bit of time so you're not rushing in traffic getting there on the minutes. Get there half an hour early. Get out the car, make sure everything in the bag is ready, so you've got your drink, your scorecard, your pencils, your golf balls, all that palaver out the way. Make sure you've met your playing partners, you know which tee you're going off, which competition you're playing in, and then let's go through that actual physical warm-up routine. So a few shots on a driving range or a net, maybe working up and down through the bag, maybe a little bit of putting on the putting green, a few chip shots as well. Only needs to be 5 minutes on each department. And then the one last little tip I'd give you for a really good warm-up is work out what club you're going to hit off the first tee and make sure the last thing you do before you go to the tee is hit that shot. Now, if it's a par 5, it might be, well, I'm going to hit my driver, I'm just going to smash my driver down there, that's the club I'm going to hit, therefore I'm going to hit 10 drivers before I tee off. If it's a par 3 that you're hitting off the first hole, have a look at the yardage on the scorecard and think, well, it's 150, so I'm probably going to be hitting around about a 7 or an 8 iron, so I'm going to go to the range, and before I get to the tee, I'm going to hit 5 or 6 of these 8 irons, and then when I go to the tee, I've got that club and I know roughly how it's going to feel because I've just finished doing it 5 minutes ago. Having a better warm-up like that should encourage you to have a faster start, and if you get a good start to the round of golf, chances are it's going to continue. There's nothing worse than starting double bogey, double bogey, double bogey, and the motivation and enjoyment hits the skids. But if you start off with a couple of pars, maybe you start to feel a little bit more confident about your game. So that warm-up can affect the first few holes, and those first few holes can affect the rest of your enjoyment for the day.